Hello to Sandy Louise. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you, Ruben?
I'm very well, thank you. Let me chat to you today. So, can you tell me roughly how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
Well, I started writing songs when I was 18, which was pretty much when I picked up the guitar for the first time. And prior to that, I was in the school orchestra playing flute and in the choir singing. So music's always been a strong part of my life. But I started releasing music in 2013 with my first single, and then 2014 my first album out. So it's been a fun decade and a bit of releasing music out there.
So, have you always been a country singer-songwriter?
I think I'm going to say yes because the not all of my songs completely fit in that country genre, but I really resonate with the storytelling aspect of country music, and uh, I think some of my favorite songs that I've ever written are really strong country ballad songs.
Did you record your debut album in a recording studio?
Yes. So I've got four albums out, and they were all in recording studios. The first two were in different local studios, and my most recent two albums, I've been working with Bill Chambers in his studio on the Central Coast. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about your debut single called "The Other Side"?
The other side, it's raw songwriting. I'm very proud of that album. It was at a time I'd been through some challenging times, relationship ended, and I really put my heart and experiences into that the songwriting for that album. But it was a big stepping stone for me, and got some radio airplay, got me out there doing some gigs, and I still listen to that album actually. Sometimes in the car I'll put it on and sing away.
Can you
Yeah.
tell me more about the single that you released called "I Want You Close Time"?
Yes, that was off my most recent album, Live for Today, and I Want You Close to Me. I wrote that during COVID times. Uh, we were in that initial kind of lockdown time. We were all in a bit of shock, being told who we can have at our houses, and that was about two lovers that wanted to spend time with each other but weren't able to at that time. So that just that feeling of wanting somebody close to you, and I think there's a line in there that I really enjoy about breaking the rules and catching up. But yeah.
That's been a quite difficult time being a singer-songwriter during COVID times for you.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I'm a single mum with two teenage boys, and navigating that with them, and trying to explain to them what was really happening in the world, because it definitely took us all by shock. Uh,
Can you tell me more about a single release called "I Still Think About You"?
I Still Think About You is one of my most favorite songs that I've co-written. That was with a local artist in Newcastle, Javier. And we caught up to do some co-writing, and we were talking about when we're children, we often watch the adults and all those important people in our lives uh, get to that point where they're changing and they might move away to follow their dreams. And we were saying how, we all get to that point where we get to hopefully make the big decisions for our own lives, and hopefully we all get to chase our dreams and see them come to reality. But often the people that we've watched as children inspire us to have the guts and the drive to make the changes in our life to follow our own dreams. So that's the story behind that song.
Do you enjoy co-writing, or do you prefer writing music on your own?
Over the last few years, I have done more co-writing than I'd ever done before. And I think there can be something really rewarding about sitting down and completing a song solo. I always feel really proud with every song that I've written. Um, but I feel like I've learned and grown as a songwriter through the collaborative songwriting processes that I've engaged in. And I actually, I'm the regional coordinator for the Australian Songwriting Association in Newcastle, and I run open mics for songwriters. So a lot of the collaborative writing I've done has been with local artists that I've been mentoring and supporting. So, like I know for me, I like to write the lyrics first before I go to the music, but then I'll do a co-write with somebody that likes to have their guitar in their lap at the same time, and it's just a different way of approaching a song. And another favourite was with Kieran Glasgow, and we sat down and we mind mapped all these words on paper before we started writing the song. When we decided on a theme, and just different ways of approaching songwriting. I feel like it's helped me refine my own writing even when I'm like writing alone.
So it's coming up to Guy Fawkes Night here in the UK very shortly. So can you tell me more about Smoke-Filled Skies?
Smoke-Filled Skies, I wrote that in a night. I'd been sitting there with my dad and my two boys watching the news after the horrific bushfires of our summer in 2020. And we were watching the emergency workers pull people out of their homes, and this image of this elderly woman, and she was hanging onto her porch rail for dear life, and she didn't want to leave her home, and she was crying, and the emergency workers were really emotional. They just wanted to save her. And when the camera zoomed out, you seen that the fire was in her backyard, and it really got to me, and it affected my boys too, because we knew about bushfires, and we knew that people have lost their homes in fire, but to see it at that kind of level, we had that discussion. What would you do if you had to get out of your house that quick, and it was your life on the line, and those conversations, what would you take if you could grab one thing from the house, came out of that. But I remember the first time I played it back to my dad later that evening, and I got into the first verse, and I started, like, it was really emotional, how much that image of that woman affected me. But yeah, a beautiful song, very relevant for an Australian summer. Sadly, we see so many bushfires, and I know other countries experience that as well. Um, I had one performance where I sung, and this big tough guy at the back, he was sitting by himself with his beer, and I seen him wipe his eyes, and he came up to me after and he said, "That song, you really hit the nail." He goes, I'm a like a firefighter, and I fought in those bushfires, and I felt like you had me back there, when he heard me sing that. So that was probably my most beautiful performance of that song, when he came and shared that with me afterwards.
So continue on more about your latest single, A New Era.
A New Era, another beautiful co-write there with a beautiful friend, Michelle Hetherington. She's a Indigenous woman, and a beautiful friend. She is a published poet, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to see some of your poetry." And I pulled out my guitar when I was looking at her poetry, and I said, "We should write a song together." And I'll never forget, she said, "Oh, no, I don't write songs, I just write poems." And I said, "Well, the difference is you read one and you sing the other." And I took her poem, Always Was, Always Will Be, which was written for the theme of NAIDOC Week, and I sung it to her as a song, and she just loved it. And we said, right, this year we're going to get together, and in January, after they announced the theme for NAIDOC Week in Australia this year, which was a new generation, strength, vision, and legacy, we said, right, we're going to write a NAIDOC anthem. And I think we did really well. Michelle shared stories of her own personal experiences with relatives and the impact of the stolen generation, the impact of loss of culture for her family. And we really wanted to put that strength in there that, you know, to empower younger Indigenous Australians to step up and be heard and speak and you know, that we all have a part to play in keeping our Indigenous heritage alive in Australia.
So, are you working on any new music in the near future?
I'm working on an album, which is really exciting. I haven't put that up on my socials yet, but "Tears in the Driveway" is my single that's just dropped. Is the first single release that will be on that album, and I'm hoping that around mid next year. That album will come out. I've been continued to work with Bill Chambers, so he's recording and producing all of these songs, and he's featured on quite a few tracks musically and some vocally with me, which is really exciting.
So, what's it like being a independent artist for you?
Hard. Sometimes it's hard. It's really enjoyable and rewarding, and I just love music so much, and I do a lot of gigs around my local community, and getting out there and singing. I just feel like I'm in my happy place. But to share original music is like that next step, because I feel like I'm sharing a piece of me. Um, so yeah, but it is tough. It's not easy to be an independent artist, and I've got the kids and the day job and all of that to juggle along with my music. And there's a lot of plates as an independent artist in regards to the admin side of being a musician, as well as the creative side and the performance side. But I feel like I'm juggling it well, and it's been really rewarding. I've got some exciting gigs coming up, and at the festival next year. I'm really excited for this album. I feel like it is showcasing some beautiful songwriting, and you know, the growth that I've had in my music journey as well.
So, how did you come across our RTC Records and Rock This Country, Nadia Drayton?
So, sorry, what was that?
How did you come across Nadia Drayton?
Actually, I have met Nadia a few times at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and I had a few friends that kept saying, "Oh, you should do use Nadia for your publicity." And you know, when I caught up with Nadia, she's just so lovely, and she's really passionate about supporting, you know, the journey for musicians, and it's been a real treat and pleasure to work with her this year.
So, have you got any upcoming gigs you want to promote for November?
Well, yes. In November, I've got some. I'm at Carrington Bowling Club on the 14th. I also have a great show called Sunday Country. I'm a feature artist on the 16th. And the best place to stay up to date with my gigs would be my social media. So you can find me on Facebook at Sandy Louise Music. I have a really amazing songwriters gig on Sunday, the 30th of November, at the Thirsty Messiah Brewery at Broadmeadow, and that's from 2 to 5 p.m. And I'm joined with three other incredible songwriting women. We're sharing stories and songs that we love and lived by. And I'm very close to sharing my Tamworth gig, but I can absolutely let drop that on Friday, the 24th of January, I'm at the Moonshiners Bar for the very first time performing there. Ticketed events called Lipstick and Boots. There's a couple of other amazing artists, Ruby Shea, Sandy Facey, Sarah Quintania, that are performing on that show as well. And I also have a gig at the Welder's Dog on the Sunday, the 26th, and Tuesday, the 20th, which, yeah, so it'll be in the festival guide, also be all over my social media. But if you're heading to the Country Music Festival, 100% you want to buy a ticket for that Moonshiners gig. It's a full band show, which is going to be an epic morning.
So, country music is getting very popular here in the UK. Is there any thoughts about coming to the UK any time in the future?
Well, look, if the opportunity comes up, I would 100% grab that with everything I have. Um, I would love to think that I can get overseas after I put out this next album and showcase it, and just working really hard to build up that fan base, and working with Nadia I'm sure is going to bring me wonderful opportunities. Yeah, the UK would be amazing to get over and with my guitar.
Some great independent country venues around the UK and other venues as well for you to play at.
Well, if I get the opportunity, I'll reach out for some venue names from you.
Yes, I've got quite a few under my hat, so I'll pass them on to you. So, can you tell my listeners, have you got any other social media they want to promote?
Yes, so I'm on Instagram at Sandy Louise Music, YouTube Sandy Louise Music, and I am working on my TikTok. It's a bit of a new adventure, I guess, as on social media, but yeah, you can find me on there at Sandy Louise Music as well. And I always enjoy when people interact and engage with my social media posts. So I will reach out if you share a comment. I always enjoy when messages from the fans out there on my music. So if you ever feel like asking me a question about a song or giving me some inspiration for the next song, I hope that your listeners are happy to reach out and let me know.
Thank you for chatting to you today.
Thank you so much, Ruben.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.